If he climbs over the wall, they'll blow him off. If he tries to fly over the river, they'll shoot him down. If he comes back alone, they'll explode his brain. New York, 1997. One man has 24 hours to break in and break out before it's too late for escape. John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Rated R.
You touch me, he dies. If you're not in the air in 30 seconds, he dies. You come back in, he dies. Escape from New York coming up next. Welcome back to the Couch Brotato podcast. Lucas, what's happening, man?
Oh, you know, just sitting here in my wife beater.
Of course, that's what everybody expects at this point.
I hope so.
Well, we had such a blast doing the Role Models episode a few weeks ago that we got Luke back to join us remotely from some cave in Philadelphia. Luke, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Sorry, everybody.
Well, I don't think anybody's written like any hate mail towards you yet. You've gotten rave reviews in your performances so far.
Oh, well.
There's still time, though.
People, thank you.
Yeah. Well, we only have 5 people that listen to us, so 3 out of 5 is pretty good.
That's math.
That's mathin'. Well, when we wrapped it up, we invited you back because we had such a great time, and we let you pick the movie, and we kind of settled on this one, Escape from New York.
I actually feel like I was strong-armed into this.
Well, since you're in Philadelphia and we're in Ohio, it's not like we had a gun to your head or anything.
That's true. It was a proverbial gun. But no, I am a huge John Carpenter fan.
As am I.
Yeah, and, you know, I was kind of playing up to you guys because I know you like the action movies a little bit. So, you know, I definitely pushed this.
If we were shooting this on video, you would see me blush right now. Well, yeah, this is my wheelhouse. Like, this is my favorite actor of all time and one of my top 5 favorite directors of all time. So, like, yeah, you did me a favor here. Lucas, what about you, man? How do you feel about Escape from New York?
So I first started off, I seen Escape from LA first when I was a kid at the drive-in, and that movie sucked, so I went to sleep. I actually hadn't watched Escape from New York until you told me about it. I didn't even know there was an Escape from New York until you told me about it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, before we started recording, Luke, you wanted to touch base on Escape from LA, didn't you? Did you not?
No, I don't think I did. It's terrible. It's a terrible movie that no one should watch. I believe it does a disservice to Escape from New York.
Okay, base touched. I was telling you guys too. When I used to work at a video store, and I was going into this Kurt Russell rabbit hole, and I'd watched like Big Trouble in Little China. I watched Silkwood for some reason. And then I had watched Captain Ron. And as I was patrolling through the aisles one night, I happened to see another Kurt Russell with an eye patch movie called Escape from New York. So I took it home and watched it and immediately fell in love with it. So thanks, Captain Ron.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Please. All right. I was going to say, let's just say Captain Ron is the sequel to Escape from New York.
Yes.
It's a little better with me.
Snake Plissken has retired. He's changed his name.
Mm-hmm.
All is right with America now. So he becomes like a very drunken, happy-go-lucky sea captain.
Yeah.
I like it.
He got his deal from the Department of Defense. He's great.
Hawk pulled some chains, pulled some strings. He got him that boat, that gig, and then...
Yeah.
So you remember when you would watch stuff on like HBO and you want to record it, you put stuff on VHS, and you could usually fit like 3 movies on there.
Yep, if you put them in SLP, it would record 3 movies.
I can't remember what the movie was. It was in the middle of the 3 that I always wanted to watch, and Captain Ron was always right before it. So one day I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to watch it because it was always on Captain Ron.
You know what? If you guys decide right after this you want to do a Captain Ron episode, I'm fucking game. I will ride to my death for Captain Ron. I fucking love it.
Jen can do that episode instead of me.
Well, I think there's some kind of competition because we had a fan vote, and she suggested Office Space, and that's winning. So basically, we've just alternated the two of you for like the last month.
Oh, that's fair.
So sneak preview next week, or next episode's Office Space, guys.
I think I picked Judge Dredd, so I will hatefully listen, I guess.
Well, once again, no one's holding a gun to your head. I mean, we would appreciate it if you do, because like we really need the 5 people to listen to us. It gives us strength. Well, so we don't continue to ramble. I was thinking though, like, have you guys? This has probably one of the best movie premises ever. Basically, like if you're pitching this movie to a studio executive, okay, New York, America's gone to shit. We've turned Manhattan into a prison. Go. I mean, I'm sold. I'm sold. I mean, can you guys think of any other movie premise that is as good as that one? I can maybe think of 3.
Man brings back dinosaurs. Dinosaurs destroy island, kill a bunch of people.
Soldiers fight an alien in the jungle.
They don't make them. They don't make these movies anymore.
No,
like,
they
just
don't.
One simple premise that you don't need to expand upon. I don't care why it's a prison. I don't care about who made these decisions. It's just, this is how it is, and we got to get this guy out of there.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's like they don't even like
perfect.
give you any backstory. It's like you're wondering like who the fuck's Fresno Bob? Like what happened to America's prison system to where they had to turn Manhattan into like the sole prison? What happened to the people that own buildings and houses in Manhattan? Did they get compensated? Did they just strong arm out of New York?
Nope.
Are there people that still live around the prison? I mean, it's like, hey, Martha, I heard you got a new house. Where are you living at? Oh, we live by the new maximum security prison. Like, oh, okay. Well, how about you come to my house instead?
Just past the bridge.
I have to give you a map. It's treacherous highway. Lucas, you like you're getting ready to say something.
No, I was just thinking about like the scene early on in the movie, and you know we always talk about best scenes, but that part where they have the helicopter and they kill those guys on that fucking mattress with a missile, it's just so unnecessary.
That's America for
hilarious.
You. But yeah, actually, I sent you guys a scene, and we'll get into like the best scenes here in a minute. But they actually had a scene where it was the Fresno Bob Snake Plissken robbery, and then they cut it out because it didn't test very well. So they just did the whole opening of the movie the way they did it. Which I started to send you guys out on YouTube, but then like I realized like, well, why didn't they respond? I thought it was kind of cool. I just thought like, you know what, this isn't very impressive. But then I looked at the text message and I didn't send you the link to the video.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember seeing the link.
I was like, oh, Russ is drunk.
No, I was completely sober when I did that. That's the weird part about it. But yeah, just real quick, John Carpenter was coming off of Halloween and The Fog when he did this, so he was kind of on a roll at the point. And Halloween's happening at some point, probably around Halloween. I guess that would make sense. Luke, we'll have to have you on for that.
I was gonna say, am I gonna have to fight Jen for that one?
No, I think we'll, if we don't do it beforehand, I'm just going to do a 4-person call.
Oh, whoa.
It's probably going to be a train wreck, but you know what? If
great.
you've listened to all 16 episodes of this so far, it's been a train wreck anyways.
Yeah, Russ, I'm the co-host. It's a train wreck.
Okay. Hey, I've come to accept it. I actually almost embrace it. Another real quick point before we get into the categories. Kurt Russell kind of comes into this at a strange point. He was kind of really wasn't like a very prominent leading man. He was known mostly for being in Disney movies. And I read like he did like a guest stint on Gilligan's Island.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, I guess I shouldn't even brought that up. But yeah, like he really like. I'll get into the research later, but yeah, like they didn't want him to be in this because of the Disney stuff. They didn't think that he could pull it off.
That actually kind of impresses me more. It's when someone's been around for so long, it's kind of hard to realize when like their first big thing was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just kind of assumed he was always Kurt Russell when I watched.
Oh,
this
so did
movie
I.
when I was younger. Yeah, I was like,
I thought he was just
okay.
fucking the shit since like the 60s, and then like I was reading this like, nope, no one wanted anything to do with him.
Kind of reminds me of like Bruce Willis with Die Hard.
Yeah, although with him being with the Disney stuff, it kind of reminds me of I don't know, like Zac Efron to an extent was just known for like the High School Musical stuff, and now he's trying to expand his horizons with like the comedies, and then he did the Ted Bundy movie, and now he does like that outdoor show on Netflix. Nothing as cool as this, but
right.
You might get there.
yeah, someday. Yeah, he'll have a movie where he's like he's Jake Sisklin or something like that. Escape from Phoenix, Arizona. All right, well, enough of this. We'll just start with the categories here. We've got a little bit to dig into. Tail of the Tape, released on July 10th, 1981. So coming up on 40 years on this. As we've talked about, John Carpenter directed this. Stars Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, Isaac Hayes, Harry Dean Stanton, and Adrian Barbeau. Rotten Tomatoes score 86% from critics and 77% from audiences, and it made $25 million on an $6 million budget. Sorry, so fairly profitable movie.
Yeah, didn't do too bad.
No, it actually came out like a month after Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh wow!
So like
Quite the competition.
Yeah. I mean, like I would have lived at the movie theater the whole summer if like those two movies were out. I just go see Raiders and then like, okay, Escape from New York's out. I can quit giving Raiders my money. Okay. My jokes are just like fucking sinking right now. Lucas, you want to start going to the William Somerset Research Corner before this thing decides to take a total nosedive like the president's plane?
Oh, so you want me to tell you what like the 3 facts that I wrote down?
Yeah, you know what? I just want to make this about you for a change.
Oof, that's a terrible idea. But all right, we'll give this a shot. So when I was doing my research, I read that Snake Plissken was actually a real person. When John Carpenter was trying to come up with a name for the character, it said a friend of a friend knew a guy named Snake Plissken, and he was like this real tough guy, high school guy with a snake tattoo.
I want to be that dude's friend. I hope he's still alive. I'm going to try to find him on Facebook now.
Well, with Luke's Letterman jacket over here, it looks like he's fucking buddies with him in the Camaro.
So wait till I pull my shirt up and show you my snake tattoo. Dead
Please
center
do.
of my stomach.
The studio didn't want Kurt Russell, as you were saying, because he was, because of the Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I know you have the names written down. I can't remember.
I'll get into them here when it's my turn.
Okay. And the last one I had, they had an idea for a third film where it was actually Escape from Earth. So Kurt Russell and John Carpenter actually had an idea for where he would escape from Earth.
They should have just done Captain Ron.
Dog shit.
Captain Ron, man, that thing would have like made so much more money if it was called Escape from Ted's, that island that Captain Ron sails from.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just make it a smaller movie.
Yeah. Martin Short is the brain character. Luke, do you have anything research you want to add before I go into like my 1,000-page of notes?
No, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Okay.
I don't do any of the hard work of the guest.
Fair point. Well, going into what you said about the studios not wanting Kurt Russell, they actually considered Charles Bronson, Nick Nolte, who seems to pop up on just about everything we research action-wise.
It's literally Nick Nolte. Should have been in every action movie we've
Yeah,
ever seen.
it's Nick Nolte or like Tommy Lee Jones is another one that was considered for it, and Jeff Bridges were like the 4. I guess apparently they thought that Charles Bronson was too old to play Snake Plissken, which I never realized how old Charles Bronson was till I researched this, but at the time of this movie, he was 60 years old.
Good God.
Wow.
He was fucking 60 years old. Like, I thought like he was in his 40s. 60. But I guess Carpenter held his ground. He really wanted Kurt Russell to play it. They thought that he would give like a fresh perspective on the action hero. And I didn't know this either, but the Kurt Russell Elvis movie that he made back in like the late 70s was directed by John Carpenter. Didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the research. Can I add one more real quick?
Sure.
The eye patch was actually Kurt Russell's idea. He thought it would make it look tougher.
Job well done. I actually should start wearing an eye patch too. I could really intimidate some people.
I thought you did already.
No, I gave it up. It fucked up my depth perception for a while. Actually, another fun fact real quick. This is the second of 4 movies that John Carpenter and Kurt Russell did together. Besides Elvis and Escape from New York, they did, 5. They did Escape from L.A., but we don't really count that anyways. They did The Thing, and then they did Big Trouble in Little China.
Guys, he surfed on a fucking tidal wave. Come
I
on.
don't care.
I hate it.
He should have been a captain. He should have been like a guy that could sail a rich person's boat from one point to another. And hijinks ensue along the way. That would have been a much better sequel.
I want to see that movie.
I do.
And I can.
You know,
Yeah.
the one recurring image in my head of Captain Ron is where that fucking car just like falls into the water.
I thought we were doing Escape from New York. This is really starting to turn into a Captain Ron podcast.
Captain Ron?
All right, we're going to do redo here, folks. Captain Ron now. The setting for the night scenes of New York was actually a neighborhood in East St. Louis, Illinois, that got destroyed during a massive fire. Well,
That's a big ass fire.
a big ass fire, yeah. They really fucked some shit up. According to video game producer Hideo Kojima, I think I said it right. I apologize if I didn't.
Yep.
Snake Plissken is the inspiration for the character of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid games, which
Pretty sweet.
I love
Makes
those.
sense.
Did you know that every character that mentions that they thought Snake Plissken ends up dying or was dead, that they end up dying in the movie?
Huh.
Every
didn't
time
notice
a
that.
character
That's
says, I thought you were dead, they end up dying in the movie. And then,
Well, that's actually some really cool research.
yeah, I got them from time to time. And then lastly, we kind of touched on it briefly. The scene I didn't send you guys, but the original opening sequence was the Snake and Fresno Bob robbery, and they cut it out because test audiences thought it was too confusing. So they went with what they did instead. If you want to check it out, it's on YouTube and the special edition Blu-ray, Laserdisc, VHS tape, whatever you play your movies on. So
Is Brain involved in that?
no, it's Fresno Bob and Snake Plissken. Which Fresno Bob in that seems like, he's going to get killed. Like the minute he pops on the screen, like, yeah, that guy's going to die.
That guy's toast.
Yeah. It's like, why is Snake working with this guy? I just don't get it. Maybe that's why they cut it out. It's like, you know what? Snake deserves better.
So kind of like this podcast, like everybody listens to you and they're like, why the hell is he working with that guy?
No, well, like, I'm going to catch shit for this because I let it just take a sharp turn left towards the Captain Ron episode. All right. I guess we'll dive into, speaking of the opening scene, we're going to dive into the best scene now, which we still haven't come up with a name for this category yet, Lucas. We have to sit down and come up with a name for it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard since we don't see each other as much anymore,
Yeah. But, we have these Zoom calls, and there's a thing called a telephone.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this thing.
Look it up on the Google.
On my phone.
For best scene, You guys know the drill. I usually will nominate 5. Feel free to throw in yours as well. First one, I picked the opening credits. I fucking love the opening credits to this movie. You get the Carpenter synth playing. Nothing fancy. It's just black screen, white font. And then after they give you like the meat and potatoes of the production team, Jamie Lee Curtis just lays out exactly what the premise is. Manhattan's a federal prison now for the United States. Just like, if I see that on TV, like, yep, TV's not moving now.
Now, does he usually do the music for his movies? Because I noticed it said that
he does a lot of the scores for his movies too. That's why he's so awesome.
That is pretty cool.
I love John Carpenter for that. Second scene is I have the Bob Hawke Snake Plissken meeting. It's where you kind of get to know who Snake is. That fucking World War III was something. They fought in Leningrad and Siberia.
Just all over the place.
Yeah. Youngest man to be decorated by the president, and he gets that life sentence because fucking Fresno Bob's a shithead. And then
Well, you knew he was going to die.
Then he gives him offers him the deal to rescue the president. That's one of the things I missed about this movie is like I kind of wish I'd have gotten maybe you only get like 2 scenes with Lee Van Cleef and Kurt Russell together. I kind of wanted one more because those two like work so well together.
They were really good. Like I really they were both just chomping on it, and I loved it.
Yeah,
you could tell it felt like there was actually tension there.
And Lee Van Cleef wears a fucking earring.
I made a special. Sorry, I made a special note about that earring. Christ, it's perfect.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's like a thing in '97 and that time like you wear earrings in your 50s or not, but
cool. Like,
yeah, it's like he has a romper and an earring and a mustache. Like, dude's fucking gold.
And it wasn't like a stud; it was like a hoop. Like he was all in on that earring. He wanted people to know he had it for some reason.
Yeah, it's almost like Lee Van Cleef was like doing a pirate movie immediately after this, and it's like, you know what? Just to save myself a couple extra days, just fucking pierce it now, and then I'm just gonna go right from Escape from New York to like The Bounty and then call it a day. The next scene I have is like it's kind of a combination of a couple scenes. It's the when Snake's exploring the island. He meets Cabby at that show, which I'll make I noticed something in that from the next best scene of the movie. But then like he runs from the crazies, the people that are coming out of the sewers, which taught me a life lesson. If I see a manhole open, just run.
Why did he investigate so much? It's like, just get out of there.
Well, then like he has to meet the chock full of nuts girl, and then in that same sequence, Cabby tells Snake about the Duke, which is pretty cool. Get some prime board 9 in that. America's uncle, like he was just like I never seen that guy sad in anything he's ever done. He's kind of like that senile grandpa. He's like, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but you know what? It's fucking awesome, whatever it is.
I actually have a note on this that I think I actually put, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this. So I'm going to pretend I didn't say anything. I'm just going to hang on to this one for a minute.
Well, we'll just have Adam cut it out.
Sorry,
we have people
Adam.
that do that. The next scene is the gladiator fight between Snake and I had to look this guy's name up, but his name is Slag.
Slag?
Yeah, the fight with the ball bats and
Yep.
apparently they go second round, so they just keep adding shit. So they figure like, oh well, like first round we'll just give you spiked baseball bats. Second round we're gonna give you shields. I would have given them the shields first, but
It's fucking like we know where ECW got its inspiration.
well, the ECW didn't have like spikes and baseball bats. They didn't have nails in there that like you can embed into somebody's head. That guy is actually a former professional wrestler named Ox Baker. He looks like an ox, literally and figuratively.
I pretty much was like, this guy has to be a wrestler.
Mhm.
He looks exactly like every wrestler then.
Yeah, from like the 70s, yeah.
Yep.
And then the last scene I have is the end where they're racing towards the bridge, and like everybody pretty much gets killed. It's like, you know what? We've got 15 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Let's just kill everybody but Snake and the president. And then, you know, the Snake and the Duke fight. President kills the Duke, and then that's it for me.
And the line that we all loved. I know that's
It's
on
coming.
your list.
It's coming.
Yeah,
Do you guys have anything you want to add?
I really really love that they were so bored that they came up with a stage show.
Oh, dude, it's like it proves the fact that, like, even though New York has become a maximum security prison, like, New York still has to have entertainment. They have sports. They have burlesque shows. I mean,
There was a band playing the music. I was like, and everybody looked like they were having a really nice time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, all right, they're making do. This is great.
One thing I didn't get is it would have been cool if they did it, although I can see them not doing it, is if they had the fight between Slag and Snake inside Madison Square Garden.
That would have been nice. Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about that whole scene. Like, I don't love it. So, yeah.
Oh,
I think
really?
It would have been.
I fucking love that scene.
I mean, just seeing how he went on to choreograph fights in other movies, I was like, this is a really shitty like fight scene. Like, I was like, I know he's got better, and
Oh, he does.
yeah, it would have been really cool if it was in like this big spectacle arena. That would have been awesome. Like,
Oh, they would have
even
done it
if
in
was
Yankee
the
Stadium.
same fight. Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, it was like in this backyard brawl thing, and it was like, come on, guys.
It actually is
like,
ECW. They had it inside of a bingo hall.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's the only part of the movie I feel like slows it down a little for me, and I just feel like if that was done better, this would be like a 10-10, like no problem. But it just drags for me right there.
Yeah. Lucas, what do you have? You have anything you want to add?
The scene where the Duke comes to the Brains house to get the map to see where the landmines are across the bridge. That whole sequence where they're driving through Broadway.
Oh, yeah, the first and only time I've ever seen chandeliers inside of an automobile.
Dude, that was fucking sweet.
It's so baller. I love it so much.
Yes.
That's
saying I am the fucking balls of this town.
I'm going on vacation next week. I'm gonna see if I can do that when I get back.
Yeah.
You should.
Somehow they still function as regular headlights, so it's really nice.
I'm not gonna be able to get crystal chandeliers. I'm not gonna be able to get like crystal chandeliers, but like those cheap overhang lights you get in your kitchen table, like at my house. And you know, Pimp My Ride was a thing years ago, and I'm surprised that nobody at least once like tried to do that.
I would put chandeliers and ceiling fans on the front of your Ultima. I don't know.
Your Buick Skylark.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, like, you know, like Exhibit didn't suggest that, or somebody. Like, fuck, if I would have been on that show. Like, yeah, I watched a movie. Can you put a chandelier inside my car?
I feel like there might have been a chandelier in somebody's car.
It's just,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
have
never
to-
seen it.
It wouldn't surprise me. We're gonna
I'm
need
gonna
you to
have
go
to
back
revisit.
and watch it. Yeah.
That, or I'll just have to get on, like, I'll probably get bored one night and just, like, look up, like, chandelier inside of a Cadillac. I'll just post it on the Facebook page of the podcast.
They were on the back too. Did you notice
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah, they went all out. The Duke doesn't play around.
He's a number one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a chandelier, you're a number two. But Lucas, you don't have like anything you want to add, like scene wise
just that-
besides that?
No. You pretty much covered all the good scenes, really.
I'm going to say my favorite scene is either the opening credits, just because I love that synthesizer opening, like that whole song, or the Hawk and Snake Plissken meeting for the first time. Those would be the two for me.
I really like the bridge scene at the end. I think it's pretty badass. Especially when Maggie's standing there fucking shooting at the Duke, and she just takes that car.
Yeah, just takes it
straight
head on.
Man.
She was pissed. You killed my man, motherfucker.
Well, that Ernest Borgnine dies. It's like, fuck, this sucks. That takes away from that scene.
Oh, by the way, did you notice when that fucking landmine blows up the cab? It perfectly cuts it in half. Like, it's a perfect cut.
Did notice that.
For years, I thought that's actually how they did that.
Well, it must be a crumple zone or something. Is that what that is? Is that what a crumple zone is?
Like, no, I think it's like a little ball, like in Phantasm. Those two spikes come and just slices the car right in half.
Fucking Phantasm.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out everything tonight. I'm on a roll. Luke, what your favorite scene?
No, I didn't write anything down, but yeah, I think the entire opening for me, like, yeah, it just captures everything I love about John Carpenter. Like, it tells you exactly what the movie is. It gives you his music, and it's perfect. Like, it sets it all up, and you're good to go in like five minutes.
Yeah, just throws you in like, hey,
I love it.
New York's a prison now. You're in for a fucking ride.
Yeah. Plus they show Tom Atkins, who is my, the Duke number one. Like, I love that man. So.
Oh, dude, he's coming.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I got a little bit of time devoted to Tom Atkins.
Oh, thank Christ.
Yeah, I knew when you were coming on to do this, like, I got to at least mention him.
Because if this were a Tom Atkins podcast, I don't even know if I'd need you guys. I could just do this.
Yeah. Well, how about you and I write a script for Escape from Whatever 3, where Kurt Russell is a kind of randy, drunken sea captain, and Tom Atkins is his first mate.
Or we just write a sequel to Night of the Creeps and just have him just throw quips out for, like, I don't know, an hour and 40 minutes. Sounds good to me.
Can Kurt Russell be Captain Ron?
Sure. Yeah, bring him in.
Sold. All right, look for it next summer, guys. That will take us into the King Kong and got shit on me, best quote of the movie. Once again, I'll throw a few out here. I'm going to save the best for last. I thought you were dead, said by numerous characters in the movie, which I mentioned is a prelude to their death. I do like the exchange between Hawk and Snake when Hawk asks Snake if he's going to kill him. He goes, "Not now. I'm too tired. Maybe later." I was like, that's so Snake Plissken.
Badass. Like, I got a check written. I'll cash it later.
The monologue from the beginning when Jamie Lee Curtis, who is actually the voice of, like, anything that's computerized in the movie, she does the narration for the prison, like, opening, and then, like, in the hall when they're bringing Snake to meet Hawk. That's Jamie Lee Curtis, too.
I was actually wondering that. I was going to ask you if you knew.
Yep. So I have that whole monologue in there. And then last, but certainly not least, I went with the when the president is hung up and the Duke is shooting at him. And he asked the president to tell him who he is. And he goes, you're the Duke. You're A number 1.
Yep.
He does it again later. I don't like that one as much as the one earlier, because you notice that Donald Pleasant's accent goes from like he's from America to he's from Great Britain during that. And then he just, I don't know if he does it the whole time afterward, but he pretty much says, you know what? Fuck it. I've already fucked up once. I'm just going to roll with it, and just speaks. It fades in and out the rest of the movie. So those are my nominees. Luke, what do you have?
Well, of course, You're the Duke, A number one, is up there. The only other one that really sticks with me is when Hawk is telling Snake, or Plissken. Plissken says, "So you're saying I can't count on you?" And Hawk just goes, "No." and then Plissken goes, "Good."
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so stilted, and it's like transactional. I love it. Like, it really encapsulates their relationship. I don't know why, but I love it so much. It's a chef's kiss from me. Like, they hate each other so much.
Well, the bonus scene too, he asks him what he's doing when he's flying a plane into New York. He goes, "I'm playing with myself."
Playing with myself.
Lucas, what do you have, man?
The only other one I have is when he's in that building with the chock full of nuts girl. And she's like, "You're a cop. You're a cop. You have a gun." He goes, "I'm an asshole."
Every time I see that movie, though, I always wonder, like, how hard up is Snake Plissken to contemplate nailing the chock full of nuts girl? Because I bet her breath is just atrocious.
Also, we had like 19 hours.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I've got
like,
45 minutes.
Dude, come on.
It's a good thing he didn't, because he would have been taken by the crazies, too. Before we go into the next category, Lucas, can I get you to do a You're the Duke, you're a number one impression?
Sure. You're the Duke. A number one.
That didn't turn out as well as I thought it would have. Next category is the...
Kind of hit me with that out of nowhere.
I was really expecting more. That was your escape from LA moment. It's like I expected much more out of that, and it disappointed me.
Oof.
All right, now to maybe bring the mood back up since I killed it. The next category is brand new. We introduced it last week. The Lou Brown Give 'em the Heater Award for the performer bringing the most fire. My nominees are Buck Farmer. He's the drunk from Back to the Future.
Yeah,
and that guy's just laying into him when he's got the president's vital sign monitor on. And he's like basically telling Snake, "I'm the president." Well, he's just getting the shit beat out of him. Tom Atkins is his character Remy? Reem?
I don't know.
I never caught his name as many times as I've seen this. But
I just refer to all Tom Atkins characters as Tom Atkins.
Okay.
So.
It's Miller time.
I love you.
And then as much as it pains me to not give this to Tom Atkins, I'm actually going to give this to Frank Doubleday. He's the guy who plays Romero. He's the guy who looks like the cracked out Dragon Ball Z character. Because he looks like the type of person that he may have been thrown into the New York prison for like wire fraud, or like maybe he passed a bad check. And like he's just, you know what? Like he had a moment where he just lost his senses and just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna embrace being crazy. Like his hair's spiked up. He does that hissing noise at Hawk when like he basically gives him the ultimatum. Like he has like so much time before they kill the president, and then right as Hawk leaves, he does that.
I totally agree. Like he is probably the most memorable character outside of Ernest Borgnine, but just because Ernest Borgnine is Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the person outside of Snake Plissken I remember the most about the movie, because I also I don't know. I always think he was in the Warriors for some reason. Like I feel like I take that character and put it into the Warriors, and yeah, I don't know. He's great. He perfectly encapsulates everything about a post-apocalyptic New York.
Yeah,
he decided to spike his hair. he just coolly counts down from 20 to get the government to leave.
Right. Like he is.
I love him.
Yeah, he's like I think he knows he's crazy, but he's just fully embraced it, and he talks like somebody that you would talk to, like, hey, I want to start like a hardware store. Like, how do I get a loan? That's how he's talking to people through this whole movie. Like when Maggie and the Brain go to rescue the president, he goes, "What are you doing?" Just like very calmly, like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, he's like the face of the entire operation. He's like, talk to Romero.
Yeah, like even like the Brain asking where he got the hat, he goes, "I traded for it."
Yeah. It's like, why was that even necessary?
Yeah,
I thought Cabby was dead at that point. I was like, oh, you should.
Yeah, the first time.
Cabby.
Yeah, I thought he killed him. I was like, yeah, Romero just
On
snapped and killed
screen.
him. Which I didn't even know that was his name until I looked up the credits and who was in this, and I was like, oh, Romero. That. And then if you look up IMDb for this movie, you look up that character, it's that picture where he's like almost making that hissing noise, like they captured like a still frame of it. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
That should be his legacy.
He also has like the most dramatic death ever. It's like fucking Bill Murray on Zombieland.
Yeah, it's pretty. Like he's trying to get a Best Supporting Actor nomination for that.
It's really over the top.
Yeah, like everybody else just like takes it, dies, but he's just like, it's almost like Ronnie when he gets killed in the battle at the end of Role Models. That. Lucas, do you have any nominees for this particular category?
Just Maggie. I thought she was an awesome character. Brain's girlfriend.
Yeah, Adrienne
She was a
Barbeau.
badass. Yeah, she that was one down ass bitch.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were gonna mention her cleavage throughout the whole movie is bringing the fire.
I mean, we were all kind of thinking it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the hot 80s mom.
Like the first time she popped out in the scene, no pun intended.
Or was it?
It's like,
Or
yeah,
what?
well, yeah. It's like, whoa.
Hello. Well, didn't
It's like, she was not dressed appropriately for the post-apocalyptic New York prison
Or
world.
was she?
That's true.
Yeah,
although I will say they did not objectify women in that world. That stage play, those men were dressed as women, is very Shakespearean.
Mhm.
So I appreciated it. They, I don't know, it's very classic.
did they ever say what she's in there for?
Did they ever say what anyone was in there for? Really?
No, like I
Well,
think.
during the play, it was like steal a buck, you get thrown in New York or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really hope that the Duke did something bad because, like, I hope they didn't throw him in for like putting a chandelier in a car.
Yeah, what the hell was the Duke in there for? And how did he get... See, these are the questions I don't need answered. Never mind.
Yeah, you don't like it's perfect the way they do it. It's like, just hey, it's kind of like John Wick 2. John Wick 2, I think, is better than the first one because they just kind of throw you into that world. Don't really answer a whole lot, but you just like, this is what it is. You either take it or leave it, and that's what makes
Plus,
Escape from New York so great.
Yeah, plus in John Wick 2, I don't have to fast forward through the first 20 minutes so my girlfriend will watch it. So, because the dog dies. And
It is
we
very
can't
sad.
have that in my household.
Oh yeah, well that's how it rolls here too. I thought you were talking about Escape from New York. Like, wait a minute, like Snake Plissken has a dog? Was that a scene cut out of the movie too?
Well, hold on a minute. All right, we'll shop this one later. I think we could do this.
We'll just save it for the Escape from Cancun with Captain Ron and Tom Atkins.
No, let's keep an Escape from Earth, but we'll keep Captain Ron and Tom Atkins.
He flies a spaceship. All right. The last category we always ask, who do you feel won the movie? Basically, like, this movie wouldn't work without this particular aspect or person. Lucas, who do you have?
Kurt Russell.
Why?
All day. Because he's believable that he could go into New York and fucking rescue the president from, a giant mob that has him, and also look really badass doing it. The eye patch and a snake tattoo down his stomach.
Yeah, Luke, who do you have?
Okay, I'm gonna go against the grain here because I'm pretty sure you're gonna pick Kurt Russell too, Russ. Ernest.
Look at that sheepish
Borgnine.
smile.
Ernest Borgnine. Why is he in this movie? He is amazing. He makes no sense. He would not stick out more if he was a cartoon character. He could be a cartoon cat in this movie, and it would make just as much sense. Every time I think of this movie, I think of that's that movie where Ernest Borgnine is in it for some reason, and he's Snake Plissken's friend. No,
well, yeah, that's another person. Like, what's Cabby in there for?
Yeah. He makes no sense, and then they just kill him off at the end. Like,
pretty brutally, I might
need
add.
to be there. Yeah, he got murked hard.
And then they show that scene of him where he's just bleeding out.
Yeah, it's like, Christ. Was this a contractual thing? I don't know, but Ernest Borgnine went for it, and he was just like Ernest Borgnine for his entire stay through Escape from New York, and I love it.
He did throw Molotov cocktails too, which earns him extra points.
True.
I have a feeling though that. Go ahead.
I was saying it's just one of the most '80s things ever. It's like we're gonna get a guy who people, and when you said that Kurt Russell was kind of a unknown, at least in the action movie scene at this point, it kind of makes more sense why Ernest Borgnine was in this movie. It's like, was he the face in this movie? Like, was he the guy? They were like, Ernest Borgnine's in this movie. Like,
yeah, like they're pitching this
so
to
much.
like the studio. Like, listen, New York's a prison. We've got Ernest Borgnine to commit. Can we get the green light?
He's in. We've got Ernest Borgnine on contract. He can't say no. He's going to be a cab driver, and he's going to be really into this weird stage play that we're putting on. It's great. It makes a lot of sense when you see it.
He's going to have the fucking soundtrack for it playing in his cab.
And he also may be able to get his Lee Van Cleef. They're drinking buddies.
Actually, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, like
it's all come together.
Lee Van Cleef and Ernest Borgnine do Thursday nights at the Rainbow Room in L.A. They drink like scotch and water. They get shit-faced. They tell old stories about Hollywood. They catch Lemmy at the slot machine. And then they end up like going back to Lemmy's place doing God knows what. And then, yeah, they bond.
Well, now I'm actually kind of wondering if they got Ernest Borgnine and Lee Van Cleef on board first. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because I mean,
they're
like,
going to be supporting characters.
I mean, they got like at this point, Harry Dean Stanton will do anything. Like, hey, you want to do a movie? Yeah, sure. What is it?
He was great though. Like,
he was awesome. Like, I really can't think of anybody that really is bad except for like I don't like Donald Pleasance.
No, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I don't like Donald Pleasance. I hate Donald Pleasance. I think he was the worst part of Halloween. I think.
Well, he did shit the bed.
Yeah, he just never seems like he wants to be there, and it shows so hard. Like, I don't know. He always seems like he's got better stuff to do than be in these awesome John Carpenter movies.
Yeah, it's like, all right, sign the paycheck. I need drinking money to go hang out with Lee Van Cleef and Ernest Borgnine. Just cut the check. I don't know how we segued into a rant about Lee Van Cleef and Ernest Borgnine being a cartoon cat based on who won the movie.
Because that's what we do on this podcast.
So Ernest Borgnine won it for you?
Yeah, I love him. He's perfect. And I wish he was still alive so we could keep doing this insane stuff.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to vote Kurt Russell. Like, we could do any Kurt Russell movie, and I'm going to vote for Kurt Russell just because he is my favorite actor of all time. He's the one actor that you can believe as anything. He could be a special forces badass who gets sent into a city prison to save the president. I can believe him as a plumber manipulating a rich woman who gets amnesia and he talks her into watching his kids. I believe him as a truck driver who ends up somehow into the mystic world of like the dark arts. I also believe him as an attorney in Vanilla Sky. And I even believe him as Santa Claus. Like they did the Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell. I'm like, yep, I'm in. I don't like Santa Claus movies, but Kurt Russell, Santa Claus, yes, I'm in.
I mean, if anybody's going to play a grumpy-ass Santa Claus, it might as well be Kurt Russell.
I don't think he's really grumpy in those, is he?
He kind of seems, I don't know, maybe that's just my interpretation. He seemed kind of grumpy.
But, like, I say he wins this movie simply because, like, he kind of goes from being an unknown to where, like, he kind of is, like, one of the first major action stars of, like, the modern era. I mean, really, if you think about, like, action movies prior to this, you had, like, Westerns with John Wayne. You had, like, the Charles Bronson Death Wish stuff. It was either, like, action movies were typically either, like, Westerns or cops. But now you got, like, oh, well, hey, we can take action movies into the sci-fi realm. And, like, Kurt Russell is a big part of that. So, I mean, that's why I think he wins.
Now, is that wins the movie or wins your heart? Because that was a love note.
He wins my heart regardless. But wins the movie. Wins the movie.
I'm with you.
Yeah. But
I totally agree.
Well, I was tossing
really
back and forth.
reaching.
Like, I really want, like, it could have easily been John Carpenter, too. Because, like, you know, guys like that, like, he was kind of, like, he did, like, B-movie stuff. Like, Halloween's essentially, like, a really well-done B-movie. Assault on Precinct 13's a very well-done B-movie. Even The Fog. And, like, you could have easily just, like, been a flash in the pan, but he just goes on this fucking incredible run for, like, 10 years. Just makes hit after hit. Well, at least for me, like, they weren't box office hits, all of them, but, like, they're well-done movies for, like, 10 or 11 years straight. But,
No, I think he was, and, you know, I would say he is probably the king of, like, B movies.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy to say they're not B movies now, but some of the movies he made are, like, seminal touchstones on how movies progressed from that point. And not even like Halloween's like an easy one, like, of course, but I also love Escape from New York is amazing. Like, he could do horror, he could do action. I think The Fog is probably one of my favorite horror movies, one of the movies I revisit the most.
The Fog is really good, and it's very underrated, too.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so atmospheric. It's a beautiful movie. Also, Adrienne Barbeau's in it, so awesome. But it's also easy to point to, like, The Thing, which is fuck. That's such a perfect movie. I love it so much. Like,
which is what we almost did. We almost did The Thing, but we had just done a horror movie. So
I love The Thing, and I actually like the prequel / remake / whatever with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That was a good movie too.
That had her and Joel Edgerton was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that one wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but we don't have to stray too far. But I don't know.
Vampires.
I love They Live, Assault on Precinct 13. The dude could do action, also vampires, and he could do action and horror. He could, I don't know. He was really good at building an atmosphere, a simple atmosphere. I don't know. I really love those movies. They're easy movies to watch because they don't need a lot of setup. Mm-hmm. They just need you to sit down and watch like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. And that's all you need. I love it.
He's also, like, he's pretty good. Like, he actually is surprisingly well-versed. Like, he does some decent comedy. And even, like, with Starman, that's a pretty heartfelt movie if you've ever seen Starman with Jeff Bridges, who they didn't want to do Escape from New York, but he ends up doing Starman a few years later. Starman's fucking good.
Once again,
Jeff Bridges is another one of my like in my stable of like go-to actors. Jeff Bridges is in that front row. So
I think I got Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell mixed up for like a really long time as I was growing up.
Well, they're much more easy to tell the difference to now because Jeff Bridges has essentially morphed into like the dude and everything. He's like essentially plays that character and everything now. Where Kurt Russell's still Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's like Kurt Russell looks the same, and Jeff Bridges looks like your uncle.
Oh man, I wish.
Everyone,
I fucking wish. Like, hey, where are you going? I'm gonna go smoke a dude with my uncle. He's in town. He's mad though. Somebody pissed on his rug. All right, guys. Well, do you have anything you want to add before we wrap up Escape from New York?
Not really. I mean, it's a very fun action movie that has just the right amount of cheese in it too.
Well, that's a Carpenter staple. Like he was just saying, he's like the master of like the B movie.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like Escape from New York is probably one of the top 10 movies of the 80s for me. I mean, that's like I have like maybe 10 or 11 movies from that era that like are my seminal go-tos, like Ghostbusters, Die Hard, Back to the Future, Raiders, Escape from New York. I'm sure I left out something, but so it must not be that great of a list. But yeah, like I just love it though. It's like one of those movies, like if it's ever on TV, it's like the definition of a rewatchable movie. Like no matter where it's at, like it could be the burlesque scene, it could be Donald Pleasance just melting down and killing Isaac Hayes at the wall.
It's such an easy movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. When I think of 80s action movies, that's kind of what I think of. Like,
and
there's no story.
It just flies by too. When I was watching it last night, I had to pause it real quick to take care of something. And like, I just noticed like when I hit pause, it was like 48 minutes into like an hour and a half. I'm like, this has been on for 47 minutes already? Mm-hmm. It seriously felt like I was watching for like 20 minutes. So yeah, you summed it up perfectly.
I was working out watching it, so.
Oh, well, I don't work out, so.
Oh, well.
Excuse me, Brutus Beefcake.
Hey, listen, you gotta look good in these wife beaters, you know.
Well, when we do the video feed, then you can show off.
I gotta look good for you gentlemen too. All right.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, it's no wonder this show went off the rails tonight. You looking in that wife beater?
Lord, it's hot in here. Woo!
I was losing myself in Lucas's chest hair.
It is sultry. All right, gang.
Sorry.
All right, gang. Well, we're going to wrap this up. As we touched on earlier, the fan vote is over. Office Space won. Surprisingly over Inglourious Bastards. I thought for sure that one would win. But the few people that listen to us want us to do Office Space. I was actually very surprised that RoboCop didn't get more love. I love RoboCop too. That's another one of my 80s go-tos.
Well, I mean, Office Space is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
So I look forward to watching that and, talking about
it. That's going to be another one that's going to feature the first lady of the podcast, Jen. I think we're just going to keep trading back and forth for a while. Just between
you
Luke,
need somebody to fucking pick up my end.
Yeah, between Luke and Jen, they're just going to be just alternating, see who gets the most listens. Because you guys actually combined get more listens than Lucas and I do by ourselves. So we just decided to have you guys on all the time.
Hot damn.
Yeah. Yeah, our most popular episodes feature one of you two.
For good reason.
You're welcome. So.
And looking at this video feed now, like I don't know if it's the lighting, but your Letterman jacket actually looks like Han Solo's vest.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Really? I could have just taken my shirt off and been Chewbacca.
Don't worry, I got it covered with my chest hair.
Nobody
over
wants to
here.
see that. All right, guys. Well, until next time, we will see you, and we hope you like what you heard. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us at couchbrotatopodcast@gmail.com if you want to let us know, hey, you guys are awesome. You guys suck. You should just give this podcast to Luke and Jen. Whatever. Shoot us a line. We'd like to hear from you. Maybe we'll read some emails. Actually, I hope you guys do read us some emails because I want to do that as a segment. Just read like emails or even like iTunes reviews. Review us on iTunes, please. I want to read some of them. Lucas, you look like you just like, please don't.
No, please do.
Yeah. Let's start writing us at the show. We want to hear from you guys. So we will talk with you guys later, and we'll see you around. Bye, everybody.